Tommaso Ciampa, he walked into Adam Pearce's office immediately after that segment when he told this to Jey Uso. Because he told Jey, he goes, look, there's going to be a lot of people around this place that are really upset with you. Someone's going to have to get traded from Raw to SmackDown, and they're going to blame you for that. I still say it's going to end up being Cody Rhodes. I mean, look at what he's doing on Raw. He's not doing anything right now. He was at the last pay-per-view in a fucking talk show segment. He wasn't even on Raw this past Monday. He's got no discernible program or opponent for Fastlane coming up in a few weeks. So it's not just a case where, okay, how can they get him onto SmackDown in advance of WrestleMania so that he can logically challenge Roman Reigns for the championship without having to win the Royal Rumble for a second straight year? Because I know, some people don't want to see that. They don't want to see Cody win it again. He doesn't have to win it again. If he's already on SmackDown, he doesn't have to win the Royal Rumble. WrestleMania is still 7 months away. I thought it would be interesting to put a tweet up the other day about WrestleMania 40 and list out what looks to be the likeliest matches for the top of the card as of today. I fully understand it's only September. A lot can change. A lot will change between now and April. We're still a long ways off. But these are what appear to be the likeliest matches so far for WrestleMania 40 as of today, here on September 10th as I am recording this. Roman Reigns against Cody Rhodes. That is going to be the Night 2 main event of WrestleMania. Unless there is some injury or someone suddenly, gets over at a level and Cody's popularity starts to wane. Look, again, anything can happen. But I don't see anything derailing Roman Reigns against Cody Rhodes. That is the story, right? Finish the story. They had Cody beat Brock Lesnar. Brock gave him that big endorsement at the end of their match at SummerSlam. I mean, if that doesn't tell you that Cody's moving on to bigger things, I don't know what does. So it's going to be Roman and Cody. That's your Night 2 main event. Seth Rollins against Gunther for the World Heavyweight Championship. That's the match that I would do. I think that's going to be the World Heavyweight title match, and I think that could be the Night 1 main event. It depends on the story. There has to be a good enough story for the match going into it. Otherwise, I'm open to the idea of having one of the women's matches, headline Night 1 of WrestleMania, because the two women's matches that I think are the likeliest right now are pretty big matches. Charlotte Flair against Bianca Belair and Becky Lynch against Rhea Ripley, I think are the likeliest women's matches. If it wasn't going to be Rollins and Gunther in the main event of Night 1, I would consider Becky and Rhea. It's not a far out there option for the main event of Night 1. And then you have Jimmy Uso and Jey Uso. It's pretty clear that they moved Jey over to Raw. They want to put some distance between him and his brother. They want to hold off on the match until WrestleMania. They always wanted to work a match together at WrestleMania. They're going to get their wish. It's going to be Jimmy and Jey, but it could be a triple threat. I would not rule out the possibility that their other brother, Solo, gets included, and we end up with a three-way with Jimmy, Jey, and Solo. That, to me, right now, as of this moment, looks like the top of the card. Now, I would throw in one more and add Rey Mysterio and Dominic Mysterio, but this time it ends up being mask against hair. And if Rey loses, he unmasks and he has to retire. Because who better for him to lose to than his own son? Rey has done interviews talking about having a number in mind for when he wants to call it quits and be out of the ring. He has said that when he turns 50, or by the time he turns 50, he wants to be done. As of WrestleMania next year, he will be 49. So maybe he wants to go on. Maybe he wants to go on for the remainder of 2024. But if he's thinking, hey, what's a good time for me to call it quits? I'm already thinking about getting out of the ring by the time I turn 50. Well, it just so happens that at the age of 49, you got WrestleMania 40. And you could possibly have a match with your son and put your son over. What a big moment that would be for him, right? Rey beat him this year. I would come back next year and do Rey and Dom Part 2 and end it mask against hair. First of all, Dominic's hair is getting out of control. The mullet that this kid is sporting, I don't even know if I can call it a mullet, like all the way around. It's getting longer and longer. And every time I look at him, I just think, okay, when's the hair match? When is the hair match going to be taking place? So I would throw that on the list as well to consider. Rey and Dom, mask against hair, WrestleMania next year. And so I would put the question to you, based on the matches that I just presented to you. is this a card that would appeal to you? As it exists right now, if that's the lineup, that's the top of the lineup, the key matches, is that a lineup that would appeal to you and that you would be excited to see at WrestleMania next year? Now, there are a lot of names that I left out. I think Kevin Owens against Sami Zayn is a possibility. If they pursue an angle where Owens doesn't really appreciate how friendly Sami is being towards Jey Uso now that they're all back on the same brand, could lead to another split between the two of them. Because you know it's happening at some point, right? Death, taxes, and Kevin Owens betraying Sami Zayn. It's a story as old as time. I would be sad if we do get a DIY reunion at some point and we don't get to see Ciampa and Gargano wrestling Owens and Zayn for the tag team titles. I do think it would be a sin to not get that match at some point. But Owens against Zayn has to be a pretty high possibility for WrestleMania next year. What about if Gunther doesn't wrestle Seth Rollins? What about Gunther against Brock Lesnar? I know that's a match a lot of people have said they want to see. Brock went almost 20 minutes at SummerSlam with Cody Rhodes, so I know he's still got some longer matches left in him. I really don't want to see him go in there and have a 5-minute match with Gunther. So I know he's got some longer matches left in him. He just wouldn't be throwing Gunther around for 15 of those 20 minutes the way he did Cody. But yeah, I mean, Gunther and Brock, that would be a huge match. Absolutely. You got to make room for LA Knight, right? He's a glaring omission from that list. My God, I mean, if he's going to be the top babyface on SmackDown, how is he not involved in something big at WrestleMania? You know, does he wrestle for a championship? Does he wrestle someone like Logan Paul, who you know will have a match at WrestleMania himself? What if, here's an idea that I put to you, what if Logan Paul grabs the US title sometime before WrestleMania? We know he's going to be a champion at some point. Logan Paul gets the US title, and then at WrestleMania, LA Knight takes the title from Logan Paul. I think the promos leading up to it would be very interesting and very entertaining. People would love to see LA Knight shut this guy up. Plus, it would give him a big title win at WrestleMania. But if his popularity continues to surge and he's getting the mega push, I don't think you can count him out as a possible winner for the Royal Rumble match. I don't see it right now, but you can't discount the possibility that we could get to a point where they have to seriously consider, should LA Knight go over in the Royal Rumble? And if he does, well, what does that mean? Right? Is he challenging for the World Heavyweight title on Raw? I don't know. What does the Judgment Day look like come April? Do we get Finn Balor one-on-one with Damian Priest? I think we probably do. Does John Cena have a match? If so, against who? His match with Austin Theory sucked at this year's WrestleMania. Is Randy Orton back by then? 40th WrestleMania? You know, for all the Cena-Orton matches that we've seen over the years, the last one was 6 years ago on SmackDown. They've never had a singles match at WrestleMania before. That would probably be the last chance to see John Cena and Randy Orton in the ring together at WrestleMania 40. That could be an attraction too. But I want to hear from you guys. I think it makes for an interesting topic of conversation here, even though we're 7 months out. A good chunk of the card, I think, is already pretty visible. But there's still some gaping holes. So let me know where you guys would plug in some of these people. I didn't even mention Drew McIntyre. So let me know where you would plug some of these people in.